Welcome back to Amy Chan's channel. In life, if given a choice between a bag of money and a bag of morals, I'd choose the money, because I take what I lack. Sanji would do the same, but he'd definitely pick the bag of babes. Life's unfair, just like how body hair never grows straight. Meanwhile, the main character's got a mountain of harem full of princesses and queens. He even throws fan meetups right on top of the Holy Land. Mary G. Wheeze. That's what you get when you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But hey, he's the protagonist. No use comparing ourselves to him. And then there's that moss-head rival of his, who spends all year messing with swords and booze, yet still has girls lining up. If you're wondering about Zoro's rumored harem, stick around. Right here, in this video, Top 5 Rumored Harem Members of Zoro. Warning, this video is a product of fangirls obsessed with cheesy romance novels and boys' love, so it might be a bit over the top. It's full of nonsense and definitely not for the serious folks, pregnant men, or those breastfeeding. Kicking off our list is Kina. She's Zoro's childhood friend, and they trained in swordsmanship together since they were little. Kina is the daughter of Master Kushiro, the guy who taught Zoro his first moves. From a young age, Kina was a sword prodigy. At just 11, she could beat adults. When Zoro, aged 10 and barely packing, came to challenge her, he lost 2,001 times in a row. Talk about persistence. In their 2001 duel, Zoro and Kina had a life or death match using real swords. Zoro got his butt handed to him once again, but after this fight, Kina admitted that Zoro would eventually surpass her. Once puberty hit, she'd lose the flexibility and strength needed to become the world's greatest swordsman. They made a promise under the moonlight, vowing to become the strongest swordsman in the world. But tragedy struck the very next day. Kina fell down the stairs, suffered a head injury, and didn't make it. Compared to all the bomb-hugging scenes in One Piece where people survive, Kina's death seems a bit far-fetched, especially given her superior physical strength, speed, and martial arts skills. Perhaps the Four Emperors Kaido spent years trying to die simply because he couldn't find Kina's staircase. After his daughter's passing, Master Kushiro gave Kina's Wado Ichimonji to Zoro. It's become Zoro's most treasured sword. He always keeps it in his mouth. Personally, I have many suspicions about Kina. Did she really kick the bucket? Or was her death just an act? The Revolutionary Army stayed in Shimotsuki for a long time. Could Master Kushiro have a secret connection to this organization and sent his daughter to Dragon, staging a fake funeral to cover it up? Only the almighty Oda knows. Next up, Tashiki. Zoro first met her in Logue Town, the town of beginnings and endings. Back then, she was just a sergeant, while he was a newbie B-class pirate. Tashiki even made Zoro do chores at the Marine base. She also helped Zoro choose swords and witnessed his epic arm-betting stunt. After learning Zoro was a pirate, Tashiki tried everything to defeat him and reclaim the Wado Ichimonji. Her dream was to take back legendary swords from evildoers. Of course, Tashiki couldn't beat Zoro, but she always managed to fluster him. From her appearance to her way of thinking, Tashiki was identical to Kina, who had passed away 11 years ago. Oda confirmed they're different people. Just a coincidence, the Marines aren't just known for their training, they're a top-notch plastic surgery clinic too. Post-time skip, Tashiki's appearance changed dramatically. Her strength improved significantly, mastering rokushiki and haki. Zoro met her again in Punk Hazard, saving her from Monet's clutches. They teamed up to defeat the Snow Woman. Despite being like oil and water, Tashiki blushed more than once around Zoro. Maybe she was overwhelmed by his cool, fiery, and utterly clueless demeanor. Third, Nico Robin. Personally, I feel Robin and Zoro have more of a sibling or comrade relationship, but many fans think they're a perfect match, so I'm boldly including Robin in Zoro's rumored harem. When Robin asked to join the crew, Zoro was the most cautious. Fair enough, since he's responsible for protecting his airhead captain and the crew's safety. But in no time, Robin won Zoro over. He's risked his life to protect her countless times, but the most memorable moment was during his fight with Kaku. Seeing Robin cry fueled Zoro's determination to defeat the enemy. He quickly regained the upper hand and finished the fight with his Ashura technique. Although I'm not a huge fan of this pairing, I quickly found some super sweet moments between Zoro and Robin. Fourth, Perona. Zoro's fourth harem member is super spooky with a quirky, slightly loony personality. Perona was once part of the Mysterious Four, and with her Horo Horo no Mi powers, she took Zoro down in a heartbeat. During the Thriller Bark arc, this was their only encounter. Later, Kuma sent Perona flying to Kuraigana Island, Mihawk's home. Shortly after, Zoro was also sent there by Kuma. He was severely injured after taking on Luffy's pain and getting beat up by pacifistas and Admiral Kizaru. In this situation, Perona was the one who nursed Zoro back to health. Our lost boy almost became the beauty's plaything. Despite acting indifferent, Perona often helped Zoro after he got thrashed by human drills, creatures that mimic human behavior. During his 2-year training with Mihawk, Perona was Zoro's caretaker. Later, she escorted Zoro to Sabaody Archipelago. Thanks to Perona, Zoro was the first to arrive on the island. If the Lost Saint had gone alone, he might have stumbled upon One Piece instead. That's not all. Perona used her powers to stop the Marines, helping the Straw Hats set sail safely. But here's some heartbreaking news for Zoro-Perona shippers. To Perona, Zoro and Mihawk's six-pack abs, cool guy attitudes, and handsome faces are just eye candy. Her heart forever belongs to the pot-bellied gecko Moria. When she learned Moria was still alive, Perona did everything to leave Kuraigana Island and find her master. She ditched years of happy times with Mihawk, cold as ice, just like your ex. Last but not least, Hiori. She's the princess of Kuri, daughter of Kozuki Oden, the daimyo of Wano. She first appeared as Komurasaki, the Oiran, the most beautiful woman in Wano. Hiori endured the pain of losing her parents and loved ones from a young age. Unlike her time-traveling brother, Hiori lived through 20 painful years. Somehow, she climbed to the prestigious position of Oiran. But after learning about the rebels' plans for an uprising, Hiori shed her Oiran persona to become an ordinary girl. She was hunted by Orochi's assassins until she met Zoro at Oihagi Bridge. Despite facing off against Onimaru, Zoro defeated the killer Kamazo to save the beauty. Not because he's a sucker for pretty faces, but for the booze and food, you know? Unluckily, Zoro passed out. Usually, he doesn't faint when Mihawk slices him up, when Mr. One beats him to a pulp, or when Kuma pummels him. But in front of a beauty, one little sword wound knocks him out. Think what you will, but I call that tactical flexibility. As expected, the beauty took great care of Zoro. Hiori showed deep affection for him. She clung to Zoro's arm when he tried to leave and looked at him with tender eyes. She even revealed a secret she'd kept for over 20 years to a man she'd just met. Does Hiori like Zoro? Absolutely. Does Hiori love Zoro? The distance between a girl's like and love is as long as circling the earth a few times. Is Hiori using Zoro? Only the almighty Oda knows. So, there you have it, Zoro's 5 rumored Harem members. Which one's your favorite? Don't be shy, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to smash that like button, it's always free. Thanks a bunch, goodbye, and see you in the next video.